Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Well, AzChats are sometimes like buses. We've had this before. Sometimes they don't come around for a while, and then suddenly two come at once. So it's another appropriate time for an AzChats, because although I had my previous conversation where I spoke about subscription numbers, and I'm talking about in the recent one, the very latest one that I did a couple of days ago, where I talked about subscription numbers, and I talked about how that seems to be influencing Blizzard's decision on content, and then towards the end of it, I tied it in with patch 6.1, which seems, at first glance, to be very low on content. I'm going to push this a little bit further today because last night Blizzard released a video about their Twitter integration to some very interesting reactions. Now, before I go into it all, of course, this is going to be an AzChats video, so a few things you need to know. Sometimes these videos are more podcasty as opposed to visual, so there's not necessarily plenty for you to look at the screen, but if you were to go away and get on with something around the house, you wouldn't miss anything about the video whatsoever. However, I will be trying to tie in with this video on screen certain pointers that I'm actually speaking about. And as ever, it's an AzChats video and it may contain fruity language. So if you are offended by fruity language, then please either get permission by your parents or just use your own discretion on whether or not you may or may not be offended. So with that done, let's get into it. So last night, Blizzard released their Twitter integration video. A very short and sweet video. It was only a few, 38 seconds long, I think, from start to finish, which did include a World of Warcraft logo at the beginning. And this Twitter integration video was just showing in 6.1 how you could use the social tab to access the Twitter functionality. And it showed a couple of things about ding, I've dinged level 100, and then you tweet out to your followers on Twitter that you've dinged level 100, so it'll just spam their, their feed. And then it showed somebody taking a screenshot in game and how you can crop it, and then put that up on Twitter as well. Here's me outside a building in World of Warcraft, because we've never ever seen that. It's only 10 years old. So with all just sarcasm aside and all that kind of stuff, there was nothing offensive about the video whatsoever. You know, there's nothing like provocative in a manner that it may incite hatred amongst the community or anything like that whatsoever. It was just showing off a functionality that's going to be brought in patch 6.1. And the community has not taken to it too well, shall we say. And when I went to bed last night, which admittedly was rather late, around about 3 o'clock in the morning, but when I went to bed last night, the video had about 17,000 views, 100 likes, and 200 dislikes. So it was sort of 33% of people said they liked it, 66% of people said no, not so much, which is a staggering amount. And then this morning, or this afternoon anyway, when I'm looking at it right now, the latest that I've currently got, it's got 28,000 views, so you know, it's getting the people watching it, and it's got 134 likes, 315 dislikes. So it's now almost working off an approval rate of around about 27%. So it's, you know, the shrinkage of likes has substantially gone down. Now, quite an interesting thing as well is this video was put up as unlisted. And if you don't know what that means by YouTube terminology, unlisted means that you can only watch the video if you have the link for it. And I will put the link in the description down below. So if you want to watch the video, like it if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it. If you're not bothered either way, then obviously don't click either. But I will put the link in the description down below. It'll be the top one, so you yourself can see the video. Now, this is rather interesting because it's an unlisted video, which means you have to have the link to view it. Where I found this video was on a WoW fan site. So maybe Blizzard had decided to allow obviously the fan sites to to embed the video into that so people can see it. And of course, if you were to go to the World of Warcraft site, you would most likely find it somewhere there. But it's not, what I'm trying to say, it's not set up for just the general public to see. The general public to see and the general public to potentially troll. Now, this is where I want to get to with this, because I posted out, admittedly, I baited the bear, you know. I saw how the reaction had been with the community on this video, and I baited the bear. And I tweeted out last night a couple of sarcastic things. Well, like earlier in the day, I'd tweeted out, the very first thing I'm going to tweet when patch 6.1 comes out through my in-game Twitter is, where's the fucking content? You know, so that, yeah, I know that was sarcastic, it was baiting the bear. Of course, it was purposely provocative. But again, there's also truth to the matter, because we'll go into 6.1 shortly, and we'll go into it in a fair bit of depth. And then later on that night, I actually took a screenshot of the reaction to the video. So it showed the likes and the dislikes with this Twitter integration video from the World of Warcraft. And I put, the community have obviously, you know, taken this one to heart. You know, so it's very, again, very sarcastic, and had a picture of the dislikes sort of outweighing the likes. And now it's even gone further in that direction. So sure, I was baiting the bear a bit, and there were a couple of troll tweets, and I'm absolutely not disguising that, but they're never meant maliciously. If you kind of know me by now, I've been going around for nearly 3 years now. You know I'm very sarcastic and very dry. It's just my humour, but I'm never malicious. No. I'll tell you if I'm having a right dig at you. You'll understand, because I'll be pointing you out by name as opposed to generalisation. And having also a YouTube channel for nearly 3 years now, I think I can speak from a position of relevance here, and I think I can speak from somebody who kind of has a pretty decent understanding of how YouTube works, and how videos can either be responded to or trolled, in as much as what the content of the video is. And in the 3 years which I've been doing my YouTube, sure, I've got likes, I've got dislikes, I've done over 900 and something odd videos, and there's only one video which I did which proved to be very reactionary, and I knew it'd be reactionary, and it was the I think that's a word and it was the one that I did on Overwatch, when Blizzard announced Overwatch at BlizzCon, and I called it overhype, because, you know, they were hyping this up as the next kind of mecca. They had admittedly a beautiful sort of Disney Pixar cutscene to support it, but the game itself, you know, it just looked like a regular standard Team Fortress type of thing. Yes, it looked pretty. Yes, it had its own sort of like Blizzardisms attached to it. But if Blizzard was sort of like hailing this as the next mecca of where they were going in gaming, and we haven't produced a new IP in so long, and oh my goodness, it's been building up to this, and they had all this ridiculous hype, and then suddenly they showed off, you know, Team Fortress 3 in inverted commas, to me, that was not really kind of like progressive gaming. You know, we were sort of looking at, hopefully, Blizzard to throw us into the future was not necessarily World of Warcraft 2, but, you know, with the future of MMOs. How would Blizzard deal with the future of MMOs? So when I saw this Project Overhype, I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake, you know, I'm personally not interested in a Team Fortressy type of game. You know, some people will be. It'll be some people's cup of tea, and good luck to them. And that was a very divisive video. I think currently it's just slightly more likes than dislikes, but it's like a 50-50 split. So that was, you know, the community saying, well, actually, half of them saying, well, actually, I really like this, and half of them saying, you know, actually, I don't like where you're coming from, and I actually like this idea of Project Overwatch. And everyone is absolutely 100% entitled to their own opinion on that. I stand by my video because I stand by what I say, and I wouldn't post a video up if I didn't believe what I said. I'm not a sheep. So, you know, it's not going to detract me if I get sort of like that like to dislike comparison. It's not going to detract me from telling my truth. And I've got to say, apart from that video, which is like almost like a 50-50 split, every other video is overwhelmingly plus to negative. As in, you know, my likes absolutely clobber the dislikes. And I'm not using it as a provocative way for people to dislike the video or anything like that. All I'm trying to say is you understand when people are trolling. You know, you understand when people are just negative, being negative for negative's sake. Right, oh, you want to talk about the new Blood Elf model? Dislike. You know, you can tell when people are trolling. So with this video being unlisted, ergo going to very specific parts of the community, in as much as the WoW community, I think this reaction to the Twitter interaction video goes deeper than just the actual Twitter integration. Interaction, I think I said, but it's integration. I think this video is actually a response by the community for what we're actually now seeing in 6.1. I think it goes deeper. I don't think this 75% negativity to 25% positivity is because of Twitter integration per se. There's definitely a proportion of those people who just be like, oh, God, you know, fuck off with Blizzard, with things like Twitter interaction or Instagram filters with the selfie cam and all this kind of crap, you know. We want to play the World of Warcraft and we want to play content within the World of Warcraft. We don't want to be, you know, turning the game into the flavour of the month type of, oh, hey, look, guys, we're relevant. Look, we've got Twitter interaction, we're relevant. You know what I mean? People are wanting stuff to play. And patch 6.1 is barren. It is barren of content. It is utterly horrific when it comes to the release date. And I am really worried for Blizz. Legit here, I'm actually really worried for Blizz about the reaction when 6.1 is released from the community about the distinct lack of content within it. And we'll get to that again. Don't worry, we'll get to all the 6.1 stuff very shortly indeed. So I personally think this Twitter integration video, I've really got this integration shit out of my head. This Twitter integration video by Blizzard is I think there's a bigger issue here. It's not just myself that have recently spoken about it. Belloir Gaming has spoken about it. DD and I have spoken about it. In actual fact, DD and I are trying to work out a time so we can actually do a video about it together, which we've been discussing in recent times. You know, you've seen my DD Danger Dolan discussion videos. One on my channel, one goes on his channel, one goes on my channel, etc., etc. So it's not just me. There's like a segment of the community, and we're all kind of saying, wait a minute, where is the fucking content? So I think one thing that people are getting a little bit pissed with is Blizzard seem to think that we have a Christmas tree, okay? Let's put it this way. Let's turn it into an analogy. World of Warcraft is a Christmas tree. And what we want now, under the Christmas tree, is presents for us to open up and play with. That's what we want with the World of Warcraft. Unfortunately, what we seem to be getting is we have the Christmas tree, which is the World of Warcraft, and every time we go into the front room to see if there's been some presents left for us at the bottom of it, there's just actually been decorations put on the Christmas tree. And it's just like, yeah, look at the Christmas tree. Doesn't it look pretty? Well, yeah. The Christmas tree does look pretty. But where are the presents? Where are the presents? I want to open up. Oh, but the Christmas tree looks pretty. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? It's dressing. It's just dressing up a pig. You put a dress on a pig, it's still a pig. But it's that sort of thing. There's nothing tangible for people to play with. So come Christmas Day, you've got this beautiful Christmas tree with all these beautiful decorations with baubles and tinsel and all this kind of stuff. And you're just like, oh, isn't that just beautiful? I can't play with it! I can't play with the fucking Christmas tree! I need the presents to open up because the presents have the toys and the gifts and all that kind of stuff for me to actually do something with. And that is how World of Warcraft seems to be going in patch 6.1. There seems to be these, what I like to call quality of life and what we like to call quality of life improvements for the game, but you can't play quality of life. You know, you've got your new Blood Elf models. That's great. People are still playing Blood Elf. Just the new model isn't going to change how they play the new Blood Elf. Well, actually, it might do. They might be playing it with less clothes. Waka, waka, waka. You know, or something. But it's not going to affect anything. It's not going to affect your play style. It's not going to affect how you play Demonology spec as a Warlock. It's not going to affect how you play Protection spec as a Warrior or Frost spec as a Mage. It's not going to affect any of that. Your character's just going to look prettier. and it's just going to catch up with the rest of the races, which look prettier. That's the only change that's going to happen there. The selfie cam is not content. It's a screenshot with your fucking face in it. That's what it is. That is all it is. There's nothing. It doesn't matter that you can get an epic version of it with filters that make it look pretty and gorgeous and all that. Oh, look, here's my character. It's just a fucking screenshot with you in it in a slightly different pose than what you would do if you spun the camera around to actually look at you and then Alt-Z'd so you got rid of your UI and then clicked print screen. That's all the fucking selfie cam is. It's not playable content. It's exactly the same here with the Twitter integration. It's not playable content. In actual fact, you are probably going to get a lot of people that are pissed off. If I suddenly integrated my Twitter account to my World of Warcraft account and I decided to tweet 50 times a fucking day by saying, "Hi, this is me by my garrison. Hi, this is me in Warspear. Hi, this is me walking through the door of the raid," people are probably going to flock and hit the unfollow button on Twitter because they're going to be pissed off with me spamming their goddamn Twitter feed with irrelevant crap. So again, the Twitter integration feature is not a feature that you can actually play with. It's not a feature that's actually going to prove to be playable content. It is simply a way, instead of tabbing out of the game or going over to your second screen and clicking onto Twitter and tweeting like that, which I've just done out now, which makes absolutely no sense. So all the people that follow me on Twitter have suddenly got a tweet that's just gone BHFGHHGFG. You know, that's all it is. It's just saving a fraction of time for you to tab out of the game, or it's saving a fraction of time for you to move on to your secondary screen to send a tweet with potentially a screenshot attached to it. We all do them once in a while. Of course we do. I've done plenty of screenshots and tweeted them out. This is a little bit here, a little bit there. But this Twitter integration is merely a way to make that a little bit more smooth. That's it. It's not a playable piece of content. The Heirloom tab, which is coming in 6.1, it's not playable content. It's a quality of life improvement. I very much doubt, I could be wrong here, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I very much doubt when patch 6.1 hits. You're going to have to forget, you can tell I'm saying this with a huge grin on my face, can't you? I very much doubt when patch 6.1 hits that people are going to go, holy shit, there is an Heirloom tab. Time to level up a level 1 to level 100 right now. I very much doubt it's gonna have that sort of vibe with 99.999% of the community. It's not something which is gonna be, this Heirloom tab looks so goddamn amazing, I feel obligated to simply create a level 1 character, put some looms on it, and send it forth into Elwyn Forest. Charge! Or Dorota, or wherever it is in the game. It's not playable content. All it's doing is it's clearing up some fucking space in your bank and putting your heirlooms in a more organised situation for you to access them. That's it. That is all it is doing. It's just something which was, I believe, told it was going to be integrated in 6.1 and then for some reason never happened. Very much like the tab, which never seemed to happen, which people are clamouring for just to clear up some space in their banks. But that's it. It's not playable content. It's nothing that's going to allow people to spend hours and hours and hours of their time saying, great, let me just organise my Heirloom tab. And there seems to be a little bit of irony attached to this, because I think they've put like an achievement or something that if you get all the heirlooms, then you get a nice reward. I think it's either a mount or a pet or something like that. So suddenly Blizzard are turning the collection of heirlooms into content? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is like so ridiculous if you just think about it. Right, what content have we got for 6.1? Can you imagine the meeting? Well, I've got a great game. If they go out and buy all the heirlooms, we give them a mount. It's hardly treasure hunting, is it? It's hardly going out into the world and saying, right, if it was going out into the world and finding the heirlooms, it would be brilliant. If it was like integrated, oh, there you go, Blizzard, there we go. If it was, instead of being Twitter integrated, if it was integrated, if you integrated the heirlooms with archaeology, then you could have people going out in the world digging around and trying to find the heirlooms. But how do you get them? I think you go to the Dark Moon Fair, from what I can see. You go to the Dark Moon Fair to a vendor and buy them. That's how you get your heirlooms. That's how difficult it's going to be. Woohoo! So that's some top-class content right there. So that's a trick. There's an absolute trick missed with Blizz. Why couldn't they have done something with putting the heirlooms around the world? They could have put it around Azeroth. They could have put it around Draenor. They could have put it around Northrend. They could have put it around Pandaria. Okay, not Pandaria. No, but they could have put them around the place and actually got people out and about. And if they wanted to play the Let's Collect the Heirloom game, they could go out and play the Let's Collect the Heirloom game. So what I'm trying to say is, these things which I've just mentioned, they're not playable content. They're not going to take up any of your, any substantial amount of your playtime in game. They're not going to affect how you change, how you decide to play your game from now on. It's not going to affect your play style. It's not going to affect how you raid. It's not going to affect how you level up. Well, level up in as much as do a quest, let's say at level 100, if you're max level, they're not going to have any effect on that. No effect on max level characters whatsoever. If you're still leveling up, then you might be able to grab an heirloom that will just either, whether or not it's got a little bit of an experience boost on it that'll allow your EXP to go a little bit higher, then that's it. But otherwise, it's not really a lot to do. Not really a lot to do. So what physical content is there to do in 6.1? Well, at the end of the last AzChats video, I talked specifically about external content. And when I said external content, what I was trying to get at was content out of Garrison. That's what I meant by external content, because let's face it, when I go to like Warspear now, it doesn't matter if it's Horde or the Alliance side. When I go to Warspear or when I go to Storm something, which is the Alliance side, they're virtually dead. They are virtually dead. There's hardly anyone around, really. And I think that's because the vast majority of people are just sat in a garrison. So we have no community. We've got no real sense of community with Warlords of Draenor. And that was a huge, huge thing, a huge problem that Blizzard did by dumping the Temple of Karabor and Bladespire Fortress for the main capital cities. If those had been the main capital cities, we would have had a much bigger sense of community, I imagine. It's opinion. Careful. Opinions incoming. So, I think we've got the vast majority of people just stuck in Garrison. And I don't think that's great for the game. You hands up. Seriously, hands up, people. If you just spend the vast majority of your time, or you find yourself spending a lot of your time just running around your Garrison on your mount. Come on, I'll put my hand up right now. There are times where I'm just like, I'm playing WoW, and I'm just like, wait a minute, no I'm not. I've just spent the last 10 minutes running around the Garrison on my mount, jumping over the rocks. That's all I've done. I'm not playing the World of Warcraft at all. What am I doing? Well, I've got nothing to do, so I'm just waiting for fucking Wednesday to come around so I can raid again. And if you don't raid, then your actual level of content now is probably, after around about 3 months, going to be very, very minimal. So, 6.1 comes, what have you got to actually play? Well, you can summon a boss into a raid boss or a world boss, but you can summon a boss into your garrison. And you can get 10 to 40 players to come along and kill it. Now, first of all, if you're not in a guild, you might have a little bit of troubles. Otherwise, if you do, you're going to have to use the group finder feature to try and get a group of people to do that. If you are in a guild, then you can potentially organise it that you've got between 10 and 40 people to go into somebody's garrison and do that. But from what I can work out, when you defeat it, you get a goodie bag. And I think the goodie bag has item levels 655 or 645 level gear. So if you're a raider, the top end of that, the 655, is only akin to High Maul normal. So if you are a raider, and especially now that Blackrock's out and the normal gear in Blackrock is 665, chances are you're not actually going to need the items at all. So is there any real relevance to summon this world boss? I don't know. Unless the world boss or the raid boss that you summon has the same loot table as it would normally, then that would be a different kettle of fish. So if you were allowed to summon in a heroic Gruul from Blackrock Foundry, and you defeated that heroic Gruul from Blackrock Foundry, and it had its loot table of 680 heroic gear, then that would be relatively cool. You know, if they allowed you to do that. But I imagine you're only going to be able to do this once a week, and then you're going to be locked out of any loot. So if you go to another garrison and fight another world boss or raid boss, if you defeat it, if you've already killed one that week, you ain't going to get jack. So I'm not totally sure how the reward system's going to work for that, but even at best, it's just what you'll get through going into raiding. At best. At worst, it's just another item to vend or to smash down for gear. You've also got a daily quest in your garrison, and I mentioned this in the previous video, where you pick up a daily quest and it sends you out into the world to do one of a few things, either treasure hunt, kill a boss, do a couple of things. But there's only a limited number of these, about 5 or so of these different quests. And when you actually physically get to the location that the quest is situated in, it takes 5 minutes tops to do. So this is a daily quest which takes next to no time whatsoever, and that's it. That is it. So that a 5 minute out and into the world for a 5 minute kill or a 5 minute treasure hunt or something like that isn't substantial content which is going to keep you coming back to the game. Oh, fucking hell. I've got to subscribe to WoW because I need to do my 5 minute daily. Said nobody ever. That's not substantial content. That's not content which is going to tweak the nipples or to stir the loins of the male and the female player to the game. You know, it might be cool that, alright, okay, got something new to do. And week 1, you do your 3 of the quests, and week 2, you get the other 2. Because it's, you know, it'll be random when what quests these are. And then after week 2, you're just like, well, they're all done. Well, they're all done. When's patch 6.2 coming out? Oh, not for another 3 months. Oh, wow. It's not substantial content. It's not content which is going to affect you for any more than a couple of minutes, and that is that. So what else have we got? Well, there is a vendor. There is a vendor in your garrison which is who's going to be selling missions, quests for you to do. Now, I can see some ears being pricked up in the background. Ah, now we're talking. And there's a lot of them. There's rather a lot of these. So now I see you getting more excited by this. Yeah. You can spend your garrison resources, which you've no doubt got a surplus of nowadays, unless you use your garrison resources to constantly buy your seals. But you can use your garrison resources, a minimal amount, I think it's about 200 garrison resources, to purchase this quest. To purchase these quests, which will send you out into the world. I think they're called scout missions, something like that. And there's about, let's say, approximately 20 of them. 18 to 20 of them. So there's a good amount. And you're just like, right, talk to me as I'm interested now. Show me that there is something for me to do. Here's the kicker. Here's the catch. Those missions are simply the Apexis Crystal daily missions, which you've already been doing. That's what they are. They send you to the various places around the world map that you can do the Apexis Crystal daily farm. So you turn up and you deal with whatever it wants you to do, kill them, collect them, put that in that box, and then at the end of it, you get 800 Apexis Crystals and, you know, maybe a token bit of gold. So that's that. Now, I'm actually going to put a straw poll up in the comment section as well, below the Twitter integration video. So if you've got this far, because we are 30 odd minutes into the video, so if you got this far, there is a straw poll. Well, and I want to know, just be honest, just be completely honest. If you are still doing it, click yes. If you're not doing it, click no. But it's an anonymous straw poll, so I don't get to see who's saying what. So if you agree with me, that's fair enough. If you don't agree with me, doesn't matter. Just be honest. Just be honest. I don't do the Apexis Crystal daily anymore. I can't be fucking bothered. I'm bored to the back teeth. I was bored to the back teeth of just doing it once a day when it came out to try and get Apexis Crystals. I don't really need Apexis Crystals for anything. Anyway. Unless I get exalted with a reputation and then I need the Apexis Crystals. Or I want the Apexis Crystals so I can purchase the exalted mount. That's pretty much all it is. I don't need them for followers. I've got about 50 followers. And around 25 of my followers are all epic with 655 item level at the minute. They're at the max they can possibly be. I don't need more. The only reason why I'd bring more in is just to fiddle with them. To, you know, get them from if they were rare to epic. And then put some gear on them. And that'd be it. So there's no real reason for me to have the Apexis Crystal daily. So if you are this far into the vid, I'm going to put a straw poll. Are you still doing the Apexis Crystal daily? I'm going to have, you can tick it if you're doing yes. I'm going to put no, I have stopped doing the Apexis Crystal daily. Tick that if that's what you're doing. And also, no, we'll leave it at that. I won't do another. I was going to put something like, are you excited for being able to do constant Apexis Crystal quests all day? Whoa, I just spent 1,000 garrison resources. I got 5 Apexis Crystal missions and I've just gone out and done these 5 Apexis Crystal, and then I've got 4,000 Apexis Crystals. Yeah! Well, you know why they've done it. The only reason why they've done it is because they've boosted up the gear for Apexis Crystals back at Warspear or Stormscale. I think it's Stormscale, yay! Or wherever, where the vendors can now boost your Apexis Crystal gear by another level, which I think costs something like 20, 30,000, maybe more. 50,000, I don't know, but but it's a lot of Apexis Crystals. So they're only doing that so you can kind of keep up with that. Because let's face it, you kill a rare out in the world, you know, and they're not massively difficult, but they are relatively tough if you're not in a decent level of gear. And what do they drop? Woo! 14 Apexis Crystals. Woo! Woo! Be still, my beating heart. And that, from what I can say, oh yeah, and then you've got your garrison music box, where you can change the music in your garrison, and I'm not sure, but you might be able to like go out into the world and find different pieces of music or something like that, but it's hardly substantial content. I think you've got to find the various tunes that you can put onto your jukebox. I mean, that's that sort of window dressing content. It's all like, yeah, you can find tunes to go into your jukebox which just changes the music of the game. Now, from what I can understand, there's already add-ons which do that, and you don't have to ferret around for shit. So again, that's hardly what I would call true, proper content for you to actually do. On top of that, I don't think there's any physical contact. Yeah, you can visit a friend's garrison and you can do their daily quest or something like that. So if you're into going into friends' garrisons, then you can possibly help out there. But that is it for content. You know, things like this new treasure hunter trait for your followers, that when you send them out on missions, increases the gold reward that you get from missions. That's not playable content. The profession changes where you can now immediately finish your work orders is not playable content. They're just quality of life improvements. They're just slight changes to the professions and to gold generation. Sending a follower out on a mission to Blackrock Foundry to bring back a piece of Blackrock Foundry loot, like we have at the minute with Highmore loot, is not playable content. It's a mini game within the World of Warcraft that takes 2 seconds to put your followers into a situation and say, right, I'll see you in 24 hours, or 12 hours, or 8 hours, or however long the duration of the actual mission is. It's not playable content. UI improvements are not playable content. When 6.1 hits, there's going to be nigh on anything for people to do. Unless you are really, really keen to farm Apexis crystals over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, there is virtually diddly shit squat for you to do. Kill a world boss in your garrison. It's not going to take forever. Do a daily quest that when you arrive takes 5 minutes. That timescale says it all. And an Apexis crystal grind on already existing content, that isn't anything new. That's just saying, hey, you know that quest that we give you once a day? Well, guess what? You can do it 5, 6, 7, as many times as your heart's fucking content now. Oh, you're not even doing it once a day because you're bored to the fucking back teeth of it already. Ah, right. Oh, okay, we've got a problem. Or your daily quest. Right, go into this dungeon and kill that boss. Oh, yeah, those dungeons that we've got at the minute that only drop 630 stuff in heroic, which probably 95% of you don't even need anymore, making the dungeon now absolutely irrelevant. Ah, yeah, okay. There's nothing there which is going to stimulate or to titillate players, as in exciting content to look out for. And I said this in the previous AzChats video, and I'll say it again now. I think Blizzard are relying on the current difficulty levels of Blackrock Foundry to compensate for the distinct lack of content in 6.1. And do you want to know the really heartbreaking aspect of this? The real heartbreaking aspect of this is Blizzard have got a team of 220 people. The excuse for we're training them up, that's why you don't have any content, has gone. That's gone because that was during Mists of Pandaria. That's why we got our 14-month drought of content there. Now in 6.1, and we're going to have fuck all content to play, with 220 people. They're taking the piss out of you and I. And to get cynical, because I've got to get cynical, Blizzard already understand there's going to be a subscription drop-off. They can see the sub drop-off from January to today's date. So they already know what that drop-off currently is. We don't. I'm assuming it's a drop-off. It could still be 10 million. But I'm assuming it's a drop-off because of content. All my 2 friends who came back to the World of Warcraft, my 2 real-life friends who play WoW, who came back, have both stopped playing already. Because they don't feel they've got anything to do outside of raiding. But the cynical aspect is, Blizzard know they're going to have a drop-off rate. And so what have we got coming in 6.1? Oh yeah, we've got that Blizzard Store mount, which you can pay to get. So The people who are just like, sorry, Blizz, I'm out. I've got naught to do. Blizz are just like, we don't care. Because you know those lovely loyal fans of ours who pay their subscriptions still and say subscribe to our game? We're going to put a Blizzard Store mount on so they can purchase that, and it's going to compensate for your loss of subscription fee. So we don't give a flying fuck. And I believe that Blizzard are absolutely fine with the drop-off rates. I think they'd be absolutely fine if they lost 1 million. I think they wouldn't really care if they lost 2 million. What they've done with Mr. Pandaria is they've seen an expansion go from 10 million to 6.8. They've seen a huge drop-off and how that drop-off affects revenue, subscription fees. So they can work out exactly how many of these Blizz Store mounts they need to do. Do they need to do one a patch? If we put on one a patch, we'll probably make a decent amount of money to compensate for X amount of subscribers. And of course, the less content we put in, the less work we put in, the more profit we get because we're not paying for this, that and the other. Ergo, shareholders take more money. So I don't legitimately think Blizzard care. Because when you're bringing out a patch like 6.1, which has possibly less playable content than 5.1 did, which had 70 less people, at least 70 less people, then you are showing to your subscription base you don't give a flying fuck. Yeah, we've got nothing. Yeah, you've got nothing to do in 6.1, really. Unless you want to farm Apexis crystals all day long. Unless you want to do that. Even on the PTR, in the Iron Docks, where these two quest hubs have seemingly appeared. A Horde and Alliance one of these little quest hubs which have seemingly appeared in Iron Docks. They're not going to do anything with that. Probably, I can't be asked to do anything with that now. I mean, it would have still been a bit shitty if they had, because we would have been playing content which we've already done. Iron Docks was a dungeon. We cleared it out. Wait a minute. They're all back. And now it's a quest hub to do it all again. Which makes sense. Not at all. You know? It's just baffling. But that seems to be pushed out now. Maybe that'll be a 6.2 thing. Something to come in 6.2. But 6.1, it's thin. There's barren when it comes to content. I think Blizzard looking that BlackRock Foundry is going to carry them through 6.1, even though it's 6.0 content, and they're very keen to make sure that we're aware it's 6.0 content. That being the case, I'm absolutely positive they are still desperate to use BlackRock Foundry as content for 6.1. So when you start shouting at Blizzard when 6.1's out saying, what the fuck have I got to do? And they turn around and say, well, have you done BlackRock Foundry yet? That's what's going to happen. Well, have you done BlackRock Foundry? Have you completed it on normal? Have you completed it on heroic? Have you completed it on mythic? Have you completed it on raid finder? I think that's going to be their backup go-to content filler for 6.1. But yeah, it is a sad situation to be in, because I was absolutely convinced when Warlords came out that Blizzard actually attitude had changed. Excuse me. Their attitude had changed, and yet when the sub numbers came back, it's as if they pumped their chests back out and were just like, nah, we got 10 million back, we can fucking relax. We can take the profits. We can just, stick a little bit here, a little bit there. If we need to put some effort in, we'll put the effort into 6.2. There'll be a raid in 6.2. They've said there'll be a raid in 6.2. So they'll be like, yeah, we'll get a few back for the new raid. We put a Blizz Store mount on 6.1. That'll compensate for the drop-off in subs there. 6.2 will bring us a raid. Some people will come back for the raid. We'll probably put a Blizz Store mount on for 6.2 as well. Just in case. It's money. But that's not how you look after a community. The community seems to be going one way at the minute, and that's us supporting Blizzard. Blizzard aren't supporting us, because they ain't supporting us with any content. And that, I'm afraid, is just shitty, really, to be quite frank with you. So yeah, there we go. I think there's a lot more to this Twitter integration video than meets the eye. I don't personally think the hate is necessarily for the Twitter integration. I think it's the community making a stand and making their voice heard to say, what have we actually physically got to fucking do in 6.1? And the answer is barely nothing. Unless you want to grind Apexis crystals, are happy to do an old dungeon which has got no relevance, or to do a 5-minute kill quest or 5-minute treasure hunting quest like that. There's nigh on shit all to do, and that'll all be done in a week or two anyway. So what are you going to do for the next 3 months while we wait for 6.2? It's not good stuff. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. And I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch. Links are in the description down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care, everybody. Bye-bye.